Bro, Mario frickin' Judah dropped again before we got I Am Music. This is not the real timeline that I'm living in, but obviously we have to talk about Playboi Carti. If we think he's dropping this week, he would have to do something really quick, but there are a couple of interesting news, also leaks from people that may seem to know something, but we'll talk about all of it today, so let's jump straight into this. If you want to stay up to date with everything surrounding hip-hop, make sure to subscribe and also become a part of this community by joining our Discord server in the description. Real quick, if you don't want to listen to this, make sure to skip 10 seconds into the future, but you can now sign up for my free newsletter with the first link in the description. It comes every Sunday and recaps everything that's been happening in hip-hop over the past week, so make sure to do that. So quick recap, yesterday we talked about Playboi Carti getting active again, actually posting about Spotify, and we know that Spotify are the people that paid for the billboards that teased I Am Music again, and they were hinting at time running out. This was referencing the 6-month period after September 12th, after which Playboi Carti would have had to ship the merch bundles that he sold for All Red with the digital album for I Am Music, and that the last date that he could possibly drop then would be March 14th. That will make a lot of sense because of Rolling Loud being that exact weekend. So we thought maybe March 7th, maybe March 14th. Those were the release dates. It's kind of the quick version of everything that we've been talking about over the past couple of months. Now, some people have started saying that obviously he can't drop on the 7th. Not only because that's only like 24 hours away, but also because Lady Gaga is dropping that exact same day. She's dropping her new album, Mayhem. And she has that one song with Bruno Mars, Die With A Smile, that amassed like 2 billion streams in the most short period of time ever. And it seems like her fan base is really die hard because she always sells like 500,000 first week. So, you know, Carti wouldn't want to be number 2 in his first week. Maybe he would, we don't know. But also Spotify started teasing Lady Gaga's new album. And this is not a good sign because so far we thought Spotify was all on our side. But that's not a problem. We talked about this yesterday. Carti could still drop on the 14th if he ships out the merch bundles before the 12th. And they usually take more than 2 days to arrive, so he could realistically still ship them out on the 11th or the 12th, so on the Tuesday, the Wednesday, and then drop the album on Friday, and then people would receive the merch on Friday or later, and he could do Rolling Loud, and everything would be fine. That is what it's all looking like right now. I honestly don't believe it's dropping on the 7th anymore, but at least we have the 14th right now. Now, there are also a couple of new interesting things, like somebody, and there's been a lot of leaks going around, a lot of people that seem to know something, like Playboi Carti dropping 3 albums with Baby Boy and the Opium collab, which we just really don't know, and the album isn't turned in yet. I mean, that might be true, but let's leave all of that aside. We do also have some contact into people that should seem to know something, which is that the I Am Music release date is still March 7th and that he would announce it 24 hours before the drop. So if that's correct, maybe by the time you're watching this, he already announced it, then let me know in the comments, wake me up, I don't know, call me on Discord. And he said that the label forced him to drop since they don't want to refund, and also Spotify wouldn't want to waste their money on a billboard campaign that then never comes out. Even if the album wouldn't be number 1, it's still win-win for them because Gaga is their artist too. I don't know, bro. That's not a good look for Carti. And then 3 big features confirmed: Wayne, Subject Property, and Travis. Carti will come out as gay on the 5th track, subject to change. Bro, we don't know. As I said, all of these Discord and Reddit leaks, take them with a huge grain of salt. You know, don't believe them immediately. They're just out there. Let's see what actually happens. Also, one other interesting thing is that Black Hane, you know, that bald guy that always shouted the Carti release dates, he also cleared his Instagram. So that could be a sign that maybe he is about to announce a Carti record. Now, obviously, we don't know if that is true. We don't know if that's actually a sign, but it usually takes some social media preparation for a Carti announcement to come out, just like we hadn't heard from him in a very long time before he now came out again. Well, he came out with his statement that he has fit pics and referencing Spotify. So I think if you ask me now, just personally, now I'm switching from the giving you the info to what I actually believe, because we're all in this together. We're like this huge community and we always talk about it in the comments. If you ask me right now, I think the 14th is definitely more likely and more realistic. The 7th really is, as I said, in only 24 hours, or a little over, obviously, because we're looking at midnight and maybe he doesn't drop on midnight. We know that Whole Lotta Red didn't drop on midnight and Carti doesn't play by rules that people give him. So he might just drop throughout the day. We just don't know. It could be a whole mess on that day, on the 7th. As always, I'll keep y'all updated as soon as anything happens, so make sure you stay subscribed. But if you ask me, the 14th is more likely because, and I talked about this as well, it would just be so Carti to take really the last possible opportunity, the last possible legal chance that he has to release this record. Because if he dropped on the 7th, it wouldn't be so exciting. We knew, you know, in his head, he's probably like, okay, when's the last day that I can actually drop? And then he looks at the calendar and he's like, okay, I can ship the merch bundles earlier and still drop on the 14th, that Friday. And that's the last possible thing that, you know, he could actually have the chance to drop. And as I already said, on New Year's Eve, on December 31st, I dropped a video about how we are entering the worst case scenario with Playboi Carti because we didn't get a release in 2024. So that means that 2024 music, or music 2024, was a lie. And that means that we were looking at the release date of latest March 7th or March 14th. Now we're here, man. Now we're here, guys. And I mean, we're all kind of still excited, right? It's really crazy how Carti has, you know, just kept his fans throughout this entire rollout. It really seems like we are insane, but as I said, we're all in this together. I'm really excited for this, though. Now, what's interesting is we didn't get a whole lot of snippets. We did get an extended version of the Cash Cobain snippet that we listened to a couple of days or weeks ago. Here's a little snippet of it if you haven't heard it yet. I think it sounds pretty cool. You know, people have made theories about this thing being on Baby Boy and that being the more mellow record. We have to wait and see how it actually turns out. I still think it's pretty cool. Now, also, if this video gets taken down, you know, the album's coming soon because that song is getting copyrighted, so that would be a good sign. But if you're still watching this and you heard the snippet, then it's really not. But still, I think it sounds pretty cool. If we get more of this type of sound on the record, I would also be okay with it. I think at this point, none of us really have any expectations for the record. We'll just take whatever comes and then judge it as it is. But as I said, all we can do is just wait and see. I do want to know what all of you think about this. What do you think will happen? Do you think there's still a chance that it'll drop on March 7th? Or do you think, just like me, that March 14th is the more likely option? All of your thoughts on this, please let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and you'll take care.